morning, Marlon. How you doing?
Hey, Marlon. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you guys?
I appreciate you being on. And Marlon, remember now, your daddy's listening, so you got somewhere along the line you got to brag on him a little bit. So you know that, don't you? You know he's listening.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. First of all, we'll talk about your football camp at the end of the interview. But Barry and I want to thank you for being on. I'm going to ask you about the difficulty in defending people on the field. I think Barry will ask you probably about how things went off the field. But tell our listeners the difficulty and the hard learning process you went through in trying to defend. Really, I know you got great speed, but the people that you played against had great speed too.
Yeah, it's always definitely a challenge to guard some of the guys I go against anytime. A lot of times receivers are usually faster than you, so it's always a lot harder to guard them when you're turned backwards and they're running just straight at you. So it's always been a difficulty, but you got to find a way to get it done. And if you can get it done at a high level, you can get paid some good money.
Coach Saban, I think, no doubt helped you a great deal because they did a good job, I think, college-wise at Alabama and really talking and helping you a lot with defensive backs, right?
Yes, sir. Just about every game, I remember Saban would always come over to the DBs and he'd ask me and Anthony and Minka Fitzpatrick and all those guys, and he'd say, "Can we cover these guys?" And we'd always tell them, "Yeah, we can cover them." And I think after that, the games would usually go fairly smooth.
We're talking obviously with Marlon Humphrey. Marlon, as a fan, we always hear the word "the process." Nick Saban, the process. Tell us what that really means. You guys are in there. You're working on a daily basis. This guy they talk about, he's the first one in the office, the last one to leave. There's the details that he and his staff give you guys each and every day. What does the process mean to Marlon Humphrey?
To me, I think the process just means you really got to give in to whatever you might think might be right and kind of do it the way they're trying to get you to do it. I think, I'm not sure how it is at a lot of places, but Bama, I've always felt like really isn't for everybody. Some people go about their work a different way. You see some people go to Alabama and not have much success, and I think that's usually always comes down to what they call the process, and you just truly got to give in to doing things a certain way and going about the work and taking everything more as a business mindset as opposed to just playing college football and getting an education. You definitely got to take a different step and a different approach to it. So I think if you can do that, you'll have the best success, and I think that's what the process means to me.
Tell me about Scott Cochran. We hear a lot from guys, and we hear you guys brag about him out there on social media. We see some of the workouts, but the fans, we're not in there on a daily basis. This guy seems to be on go. I think this guy must drink 10 Red Bulls a day. Have you ever seen him have a down day? And how important is the strength and conditioning program to the success at Alabama?
Well, just looking at most of the Bama guys, the strength and conditioning is huge there. Like you said, Coach Cochran, you're never going to come in the weight room and it be a rough day. He's always going to be on edge, ready to go. And I think he does a really good job with the weight and weight program. But I think the part that really the fans don't ever really see is the more of the mentoring side that Coach Cochran does. I think he keeps a lot of things afloat in that building. With anytime you got a team with a lot of good players, there's going to be things happen and emotions going here and there. And Coach Cochran, you guys see the kind of wild side of him, but a lot of times, even with me, he's pulled me to the side and asked me how's things going, what's going on. I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. And he really helps guys more mentally than physically, I think, and from what I've experienced. And he does a really good job of keeping guys stable, keeping guys down as far as humbled, and he does a lot of things that go unseen to the average fan.
Yeah, before I ask you a question, I want to ask you one more thing. You redshirted your freshman year, and what you just said meant a lot to me. I was college coaching for 19 years, and you know, do you guys go in there? Alabama's going to sign the top-rated players, guys that want to play right away. But it seems like somehow at Alabama, guys seem to wait their turn, and how it looks on the outside. But I'm sure on the inside, in the building in there, these kids are disappointed. They're not playing right away. They want you know, Derrick Henry wanted his carries. You redshirted your freshman year, which you'd probably say now was probably the best thing for you. Maybe with your dad, maybe you knew it was then. Maybe some guys don't. But just talk about how do they get guys to wait their turn over there? Because now with this transfer portal, it seems like guys don't want to do that anymore. They want to be a star right away or not willing to wait.
Well, I'm not really sure how exactly redshirting happens for most guys, but for me, it was I never was told I was gonna redshirt. I practiced, ran with the twos all for the most of the year, and then I think we were playing Texas A&M, and we were up like 49-0. All my freshman buddies were putting their helmets on and strapping them up, and I'm like, yes, I'm not going in there. So then that's kind of when I realized, but I'm just not sure how that. I know most people now, you see this new transfer portal, you see guys not playing 1 or 2 games and they're already ready to jump ship. So it's I think it's things are definitely going a little different, but I think that's also another thing that goes back dealing with that process, you know. Not everybody is going to be able, when you go to Alabama, not everybody is going to be able to play. They're not the type to, just because you were a 5-star, you're going to play your freshman year. Just because you were this, you're going to play your freshman year. And I think that all just goes into it, how even, okay, you didn't play your freshman year, but they still have a plan for you. And you just got to, you know, trust the process, know why you're there and that you can work and you can compete with the guys that are there and hopefully win yourself a job.
Yep, that.
When you decided to go pro, I know it was a real experience for you to try to get going with an apartment, to handle your money, which your dad said he didn't do very well. So, and then, by the way, you're doing a great job on this interview. Your dad said you would be better in person than you would on the radio, but you're terrific. All the things that go about, was it difficult? Tell our listeners how difficult, if it was difficult, of sort of getting adjusted to professional football.
Well, since I was probably as young as I can remember, I remember this guy you guys keep talking about, Bobby Humphrey, my dad. I remember story after story, and he's just, you know, telling me when I was in the league. I can't remember how young, and I'm just hearing these stories, and I'm like, I can't really see that happen. I can't really see that happening. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. And then you get to the NFL, and you're like, and the situation happens, and you're like, I feel like I've already experienced this before already. I've already experienced somebody saying, hey, man, can I borrow this? And I've experienced, you know, things that are done here and there. So it seems like the mistakes he's made, I've already made those mistakes mentally, and I've already known how to handle those situations and things like that. So adjusting to it didn't seem very hard because when I grew up with someone that has done what I wanted to do, played in Super Bowls, been in the Pro Bowl, walks with God, and it's kind of in my house. So it never really was too hard. And when it comes to money, I mean, I spend $300 somewhere. My dad's like, is fraud going on with your account? I saw this and that. So that was one of the main reasons why I wanted him to, as I have a financial advisor, I always wanted someone in my household to be overlooking my funds and my assets and everything like that also, because I think the people will look out for you, but then nobody will look out for you as your family will.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
You can keep if you keep family involved with things you're doing, you can succeed the best.
When it came to coaching, and I know you get this asked you all the time, but still, I think our listeners like to hear it. The coaches themselves, as far as the practice time, the way they coach you verbally compared to, I guess, Alabama, the length of time that you have to study. Tell our listeners a little bit of the difference there.
The difference of from NFL
the pro coaches and the pro time versus what you were used to, I guess.
College, yeah.
So in college, as you guys may all know, Saban does a lot more yelling, a little more tough coaching, and then NFL it's still coaching, but it's a little more laid back. But I'll say the biggest difference is they don't really coach the little things. Like they expect you to know what technique you have. If you've gotten to that level, they're not going to really try to change up as far as your technique of how to play man coverage or how you get in your wide receiver stance or what.
Really?
So, yeah, they don't really coach the itty bitty things like that because that's almost to be second nature to you at this level of football. So
that's interesting.
That was probably the biggest difference.
Great. That's interesting.
Marlon, you got to clear something up for us now. Your dad told us about his mistakes that he made when he made all his money. So I asked him yesterday, I said, well, when you guys go to dinner, who picks up the check? And he told us a story. He said, I think you had just gotten your signing bonus and y'all went to Buffalo Wild Wings, one of your favorite places. Said the check came to the table. And he told you that you need to watch your money. You slid the check over there to him, and he looked at you and said, "Boy, I ain't paying this check. You pay more in taxes than I make." Who actually paid that check, Marlon?
I can't remember. It slips in my mind, but he does always tell me to save my money every chance he gets. So that's the case. Anytime we're eating dinner, it's going to have to be on him. Yeah,
Bia, you got to make him pay. Tell us about your brothers and sister. You guys got some tremendous athletes in y'all's family. Your dad told us yesterday that he didn't do any extra training with like training people outside of what you guys coaches did for you guys. Just tell us about your brothers and sisters and how proud you are of them.
Growing up in a brother going play D1, a sister running D1 track, it was always fun. It seems like a lot of people have asked me about who's one of my favorite athletes I watched growing up, professional athletes, and there's never really a time when I remember sitting around on Sunday night watching NFL football with the family. It was always, we're going to this basketball game, we got a track meet, brothers playing a football game here. So the most sports I watched growing up was my own siblings, and that was always fun. My little sister and little brother, it was just crazy to, even though they were not much younger than me, it was just crazy to see some of the people they played against when they were 6 and 7 years old and just watch them grow up along, and they just competed all the way up to the next level. So it was always fun watching my siblings, and anytime we went to the track on Sunday to do some work, Mario would be dribbling a basketball around the track, Drake would be doing something on the football field, Toronto would be running. It was always fun to just go to the track, and everybody just had a good time, just doing whatever really they wanted to do that day. So growing up with the family, so athletic and sports filled was always fun.
I know you're here for your football camp, and I know you're excited about that. Tell our listeners about your camp, where it is. Give us the whole details of your football camp.
So I'm having a camp for QBs, wide receivers, and DBs in the state of Alabama. So I invited basically the top guys from a lot of schools from around this area, from down in Mobile, from just all over, and just going to be a strictly skills camp. The 1-on-1, 7-on-7, a little position work, and just a good time, just a time to compete. When I look at the NFL, you see guys like Julio Jones, Jameis Winston, Nick Mullins, James Bradbury, Sean Dionham, TJ Yeldon. You see all these guys, and you're like, man, Alabama has had a lot of success in this state at getting to the next level. And I had a vision that it would be really neat to be able to get a chance to get all those guys at one place and be able to, compete against each other. You go through all the classifications 1A through 6A or 7A. There's a lot of divisions that never get a chance to actually go against each other just because the gap differences. But it's still a lot of talent. So I just wanted to be able to bring as many elite guys as I could and just compete a little bit and have some fun and give some awards at the end. And that is just something that I just had a vision for, and I'm excited for it. It'll be July 6th. It'll be a kids speed and agility camp before, so younger athletes, 8th grade and under, work on a little speed work and learn some little tips for. They'll be running 40-yard dashes soon, so get some tips on some of those things, and then the elite skills camp will be later in the afternoon at 1.
All right, when and where is it?
The Hoover Met, those new fields in the back.
Okay, on July the 6th, you said, Marlon?
July the 6th, yes, sir.
All right, is your dad going to be out there teaching the station?
I don't know if he'll be teaching the station, but he will be out there instructing and making sure people are where they're supposed to be.
All right. Well, Marlon, great stuff. We
Thank
appreciate
you
being on with us this morning.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.